a few minutes on screen to turn Bo Derek into an icon. Long before Baywatch made slow-mo running a thing, there was Bo jogging on the beach with a look that women have been trying to duplicate for 40 years. She is here to tell us all about her life now and her passions, but first, I'll look back. Watch. Actress Bo Derek has been turning heads for over 40 years. She first emerged onto the Hollywood scene during that unforgettable run on the beach in the 1979 film, 10. And instantly became one of the world's most famous faces. Since then, Derek has starred in films Tarzan the Ape Man and A Change of Seasons alongside Anthony Hopkins.
Like to join me?
And was most recently seen in the sci-fi pop culture phenom Sharknado.
I am not leaving you and my grandchild.
These days, the 61-year-old beauty spends most of her time off-screen, tending to her horses and advocating for animal welfare. She lives a quiet life now with actor John Corbett, Derek's partner of 16 years. It's a life Bo Derek says is still, no doubt, a 10. Please help me welcome Bo Derek!
Sorry, it's so sweet. That is nice, isn't it?
I know it's a this is your life situation when you come out here. I did not realize how young you were when you started. When you were running on that beach, how old were you?
22.
And you had started in the business just a few years earlier as a teenager.
I had.
16?
Yes, but I don't know. As a teenager, I thought I had it all together and I knew everything, and I felt very like I knew it all.
Right. So you were typical.
Yeah.
All right. Who is Mary Kathleen Collins?
Yeah, she was. I've been her. I'm still her. But my life took so many different directions. It still is. It's still always another road is opening, and I'm still jumping through.
Because that was your given name, and you decided
Yes.
to change it. Where did Bo come from? Was that your idea, or?
I can't remember. I was living in Europe. I was 17 and not wanting to be Kathy Collins anymore. For no good reason, just growing up.
Well, sometimes you don't feel an identity with your own name. That's why a lot of people change them.
Yeah. And my name had already been changed a couple times by an agent, by someone else in the industry, so
Okay.
this one stuck.
So you're 16 years old, and you start acting, right? You get, what was the first role
I
you
did.
ever
My
had?
first role, I was 16.
Was that Fantasies?
It was called Once Upon a Time. I think it was called Fantasies when it was re-released. It was my soon-to-be husband. I was 16.
So John Derek,
Yes,
who was 46 at the time,
he was 46.
and you were 16.
Yeah, I know. Nothing happened till I was 17, but that really doesn't make a difference, right?
I mean, we should start with the conclusion, which is
Yeah.
you wound up together to the end of his life.
Yes,
and
25
lived
years.
a long and happy marriage together. But it started in a controversial way because
It did.
he was much older and he was married
He was.
to Linda Evans.
Yes.
So,
I know.
But now, because I've read a lot of what you've
You
said.
can boo, and it's terrible.
But I know that you've wrestled with your own guilt over that.
Yeah.
All these years later, are you able to forgive yourself?
I don't forgive myself, no, because I knew it was wrong. We know, as girls, we know it's wrong to be involved in a marriage. I was young, so it'd be easy to hide behind that, but I knew it was wrong. And I don't think I have to forgive myself. That doesn't mean I think about it a lot or all the time, but it was a big mistake that I learned from.
Mm-hmm. At the time, your parents objected, given the age difference, and so you lived overseas for a while because it was illegal. The relationship was illegal when it first
It was.
started.
My parents weren't fighting my relationship with my husband, but there was an agent, that thought I was his next meal ticket. So he was bringing charges. And in California, you don't really belong to your parents. It's an old Spanish law that you belong to the state. So he was possibly going to bring charges. So we ended up living in Europe until I was 18, which is very romantic, actually.
Right, you were in Germany?
All over.
Do you speak German? I was just wondering.
Menu in almost every language.
Look at you.
Only menu, though.
Only menu. Still, it's impressive.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a lot to discuss, including her current passion project, and I've got to ask you about this unbelievable clip we saw of you on Johnny Carson when we come back. And we're back now with the perfect 10, actress, activist, and Hollywood icon, Bo Derek. So your movie career kicks off. You're with John Derek. You're starting to get cast in all these films, and you get the part in 10.
Yeah.
With the cornrows and the body. And most people don't realize it wasn't a long time on screen for you in that movie.
No, it's a very small part, about 10 minutes, maybe.
Can you believe that? I mean, when you think of 10, you think of Bo Derek. You don't even remember Dudley Moore was in that movie.
Julie Andrews is the star of the movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot all about her. And I love Julie Andrews.
I love Julie Andrews. I still do.
So how did that change your life, that film?
Completely. Completely. One day you're private. All I ever wanted out of 10 was the trip to Mexico. That's the most I thought I'd get out of it, meet some nice people. And I did. But then all of a sudden the film opened and my life was changed completely. No privacy. The business was mine. I could do whatever I wanted,
right,
in it.
And so you went on to star in a number of movies that you made with your... At some point, John became your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got married. And I have to ask you, because in preparing for this, we were looking back at old clips of you on The Tonight Show with Joan Rivers and then with Johnny Carson. And the way you spoke about your relationship with John, to me, was jarring in a 2018 prism, right? So this is through it. Let me show it to you, and then you tell me what you think of this. Watch.
Did he say something? I've read quotes. He says, some days you look ravishing and beautiful, and he said, other days you look like, and I'm forgetting whether I should say the word. What did he say? Was that
he's very critical, and if I don't look good one day, we don't have a very good day usually. He just, it really does affect
Really?
Yes. And that's mainly because I eat too much, that I have those terrible days.
But you're so tiny.
But I eat a lot.
You know, he wouldn't be different today, my husband, than whatever that was. He was an artist. He was a great photographer. He saw everything in light and shadow. And as we know, our faces, especially women, we retain water, we get fat. I get fat face. That's where my weight goes first. And he was an artist. It affected him if I was puffy or fat face, because he just saw differently than other people.
That wasn't upsetting to you?
No, because it's a bad day. Get over it, was my attitude.
You know, now we're living in this body positivity movement, and you're not allowed to say things like that, apparently. The word police have told us those words are not okay.
What I was saying is I did eat a lot. I mean, it didn't affect me. I got no complex from it was his problem.
How is that, like, over the course of your years, how has that affected you? I mean, do you still, being the perfect 10, feel more pressure than you think the average person to be, quote, perfect?
No. And I mean, we all want to look nice, which I have a problem with too. I'm not sure women, I think they're encouraging all that a little bit too. I notice when I'm around men, if men walk in and say hello to each other, they say, hey, that was a great deal you did, or what'd you do last night, or something. We're immediately, oh, you look pretty, or that's a pretty dress. And I don't know if we're reinforcing all that body image problem.
That's actually a really good point. I notice that my daughter goes to an all-girls school, which is very empowered, very strong. But I've heard some parents get up and talk about their kids and just describe their kids, and the first word out of their mouth is, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, you would never get up and say about your son in an all-boys school, he's so handsome. That would just never be the first thing you'd say about your male child versus it. So I think you're onto something. Listen, Bo has done a lot since the movie 10, and including her activism on behalf of animals, and in particular horses, which we're going to talk about, and her thoughts on the Me Too movement. She got her own story there. Don't go away. And we're back now with Bo Derek, who came of age in Hollywood at a time that was very different than the one today, and before there had been anything like a Me Too movement. So You had your own Me Too moment though back when you were a teenager. What happened?
I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I was saying goodbye to a really old, horrible-looking producer for an interview, and as I said goodbye, he grabbed my face and stuck his tongue down my throat. It was really kind of horrible. My mom had taught me to kick him in the nuts, was what she always said. So it was a little delayed reaction, so I don't think I hit the target just right. But it felt good to do it. It felt good to do it, and then you learn. I learned, and I think that it's really important what's going on now, the Me Too. I think that it's awkward, and it's bumpy, this transition, but I think we're at a good course correction. Mm-hmm. In our culture. I think that even me, I start thinking about all this and how it's very strange how women have lived as prey,
right?
From the beginning,
without even thinking that much about it. She's been taught and accepted for so long.
Well, and it's physical. I'm very much into animals, as you said before, and so there isn't that domination between male and female in most species.
Horses in particular.
Yeah.
And I know that you're an ambassador for, is it Wild Aid?
Wild Aid, yeah. I've been on the board for a long time.
That group, they try to get the consumer to stop creating a market for products like elephant tusks and ivory and so on.
Exactly. I think it was about 16, 17 years ago I got involved because I understood what they were doing. I think it's important that we're doing all these programs on the ground and trying to protect elephants, rhinos, all these beautiful creatures. But ultimately, the responsibility is with the one who buys the piece of ivory or the rhino horn. So they're the only group that has been working all these years on big ad campaigns in Asia, where most of the body parts are consumed. Mm-hmm. And it's highly effective.
Shark fin soup.
Shark fin soup.
Consequences to these
this
purchases.
Has been 16 years, so shark fin soup consumption is down 50, 80% in China.
Wow.
Now from these big ad campaigns, and we get everything donated from the biggest ad campaigns that sell you a car or a burger or a pair of tennis shoes.
Now, you're living on a ranch, which you love, with John Corbett, who we love. You're not married, but you've been together a long time.
17 years, yeah.
Now, how did that happen?
It was a blind date. I wasn't really dating. I was taking a girlfriend, a politician from D.C., to have a Hollywood experience. She'd been so helpful to me in all my projects in Washington, D.C., and so I thought she might like this, so we were going to the Vanity Fair party, and someone called, and I just thought it would be more fun for her as a Hollywood experience to have a Hollywood star. And so one thing led, for a number of reasons, someone called and said, John Corbett. 17 years, I'm still doing that. Anyway, John Corbett, and it was great.
Well, you make an incredible couple. It's
Thank
lovely to see the two of you together and see you so happy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All the best to you both. And don't forget, you can find out more about Wild Aid on our website, which is today.com/Megyn Today. Have a good one.